Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got another episode of From the Sidelines pick version for you here tonight. We're excited. We got a cool opportunity that doesn't come around much in paintball, but thanks to Mother Nature and everything that went down in Texas, we have a delayed finals. So the finals for the Lonestar Major, as you guys know out there, are going to be taking place next week in Atlantic City. And I've brought a couple guys together with me to give you all of the picks and takes on how that is going to go down out there in Atlantic City, but it's going to be for the Texas event. We will have a show coming up next week that will have all the Atlantic City information, but since that's not available just yet to us, that will be delayed. Let's go ahead, let's jump on into the show. Let's bring in our two co-hosts for the night, two great guys who have been on shows with the From the Sidelines family before, but yeah, we're excited to bring them back in. Let's bring in our familiar face to these shows, Ryan Fitz. How you doing, buddy? Fitzy, you're back on the call.
I'm back on it. I'm unmuted. I was told to mute.
Yeah,
he's like, be quiet.
Yeah, you're
fine.
A little talkative pre-show, but that's okay. Bring it out now. Be social. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, this is gonna be good. At least I get to pick something for Sunday this time.
That's
not
true.
Locked up. Let's
go.
go.
We don't get a pick final, so yeah, this is exciting for us. It's gonna be a cool first time that we get to do this. Yeah, it did suck how everything went down, but at the end of the day, it is. It's like, you know, taking silver lining in it all.
Yeah, we're ready.
Well, for sure. You don't sound excited, man. So you're gonna need to pump that up while I introduce our next guest. A first for us here on this show. We actually have someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to paintball, and not just like, yeah, I played Division 2. I'm a pro paintball player. No, he actually did play pro for multiple years. He's one of my favorite guys to talk to when it comes to paintball IQ, just because his vision on the game and the way that he views the game and breaks it down is really cool, and he can kind of explain it very well to a lay person like myself. But he's one of my favorite guys to talk with in paintball, and we're glad that we got him on the show tonight. Retired pro player Jordan Boyum, how are you doing, man?
Doing great. Nice to be back. Let's get after it. Two pro tournaments in one weekend.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's almost like we're getting the Final Four and then like the whole next March Madness bracket right after. Like, because it's we're not like we're having more prelims or anything like that. We're just getting the what, we have 16, we have 12 teams or something left in the Texas bracket.
Yeah, it's not quite 4.
Yeah, it should be 10 teams left.
10 teams, yeah, in the playoff bracket.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. He trailed off with his hand. I thought he was going to go somewhere else with that, but that is totally fine. We do have a couple last things we got to do before we get into our picks for tonight's show. We got our sponsors. They put this show on the air, and we need to talk about them and give them a quick shout out. First off, we have NECTR Energy. We actually just interviewed the boys at NECTR Energy over on the Big Boy episode of From the Sidelines, episode number 98, which will be out on the public release very shortly here. So go check that out. We talked with them a lot about their product. If you want more information, you can head over to NECTR.energy, get more over there, or tune into that show because we do go deep into it. It's a pretty cool product run by some cool guys, and it's awesome that they given us a chance to promote them and kind of help them in the way that they've helped us in the show a little bit as well. So NECTR.energy, that's where you're gonna head over to grab your awesome little energy pouch. I'm gonna throw one in. Let's go. Let's just get hyped up for tonight. Boom, it's in. That neurotropic is going to get me going. Also shout out Lopez because he knows I just said that word wrong, but haha. NECTR.energy, head over there, use promo code MafiaProductions at checkout, all one word, Mafia Productions. It's going to get you a buy two get one free offer. So put 3 cans in your checkout in your cart and you're going to get one for free. Pretty good deal. Go for it, check it out, and like I said, go let them know that we sent you. Put something in the order notes. They literally talked about that in the past episode, that let them know that you're coming from us, and they're inclined to hook you guys out and let you try out some more of the product. Next up, we have weltsclothing.com. That's our next sponsor on tonight's show. I actually got some on. It's not exactly Wednesday, so it's not Welts Wednesday, but it's the day after that, so it's like a post Welts Wednesday ad read. I don't know. I like it. We'll get there eventually. Welts, they're a great little clothing company, apparel company down in Texas, ran by a couple guys who are in the pro paintball scene. Scott Stewart's kind of the face of the company, but there's some other guys behind it as well who are doing some great things, getting some cool apparel out there into the world. So if you need some awesome stuff, head over to weltsclothing.com, use code FTS. You're going to secure a little bit of money off your order at checkout, and they're going to help you out, get stuff right to your door. The awesome guys at Welts Clothing also do, they have new drops beginning of every Monday. Well, it's Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. They're going to be dropping new apparel and limited edition items. So head over there. Make sure you got to get in quick. They'll sell out in 24 hours each. So it's gonna go quickly if you don't head over to weltsclothing.com. And last but not least tonight, since this is a show about picking winners for gambling, because that's what we're doing at the end of the day, you can head over to Kirgo.com and use code FTS to get signed up to make your picks for both the Lonestar Major finals and all of the Atlantic City event. Kirgo's really helped us out a lot with getting a lot of our kind of the gambling, like what's it would be like the back end side of stuff. So they have all that set up now, so you can head over there, get picks down for either single games, over unders, whatever you enjoy in your sports betting world. They have now available for paintball. So if you want to get in on the action, head over to Kirgo.com. Like I said, when you're signing up, use code FTS. You're going to get a 12% cashback offer. So let's say your favorite team doesn't win their match, you pick Dynasty, they get beat by Paintball Fit, you're going to get 12% of that bet back. So you can try again with another pick later on down the line. Code FTS is what you need to put in at the sign up to get registered for that. Thank you to the guys over at Kirgo.com for helping us out and sponsoring this show tonight. Let's get into this, guys. Let's go over our numbers from last event first. We got to give people kind of a tell them where we're at so far with this Texas event, because it is still ongoing. Recap for everyone. Fitz, Texas was chaos. I did great. In case people weren't paying attention to what happened Sunday, what the fuck happened Sunday at Texas?
A lot of rain, a ton of rain, so much rain that nobody wanted to play. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what happened. The teams voted and said that we're not playing in that.
We're not playing. But no, it was a lot of rain. It was a lot of muddy mess, and it was made good footage.
Made for great footage from divisionals.
Yeah, a lot of people, and then a lot of broken guns. So, it is what it is. But that means that we get to pick on a Sunday, which is cool. And hopefully we don't jinx anybody going into this Sunday.
I feel like we'll jinx people. I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. We did, dude. I called it live here on this show. We have it written down here. I called PB Fit beat Dynasty. I just want to talk about that real quick, because I think that is, that was a crazy game in the moment. Everyone was hyped when that happened. It's always cool when you could see a team like Dynasty lose to anyone, and seeing the rookie team come in and do it is kind of even cooler. Jordan, what was your what were your thoughts on the prelims from Texas? What did you see from teams? And I guess what stood out to you?
And the layout played pretty balanced across the field, so it really gave a lot of the younger, less experienced teams an opportunity. I feel like every team was able to kind of throw darts all over the board, and sometimes it stuck and you ran up the score, and the upsets were aplenty, I would think they would say. I feel like Dynasty was in a tough spot. They've been winning a lot, and you got a hungry team like PB Fit, who trains probably harder than any other pro team out there right now with their resources, and they were primed to win some breakouts and kind of break a team down that wasn't expecting to be broken down. So it was a good layout for that.
Yeah. No, and I think that is a great point. With that kind of diamond-shaped center, it just allowed for so much chaos up the middle that just it took these, let's say, kind of established pro teams, the Dynasties, the Heats, the maybe the Infamouses, who didn't have such a good event. It made them focus more on the center, which maybe they don't always do in their game plan. Maybe they're more focused on having a 2-1-2 type setup, where focusing, having more stronger kind of tape sides of the field. We definitely saw it put people in positions they weren't comfortable with, and they dropped games because of it. There were outside elements that came in as well. I know a key player for Dynasty, Marcelo, got injured during his first game. That was something that happens when you have those muddy fields and all the rain and everything that was coming down. Going out of day one, let's give everyone kind of our statistics on it now. Fitz, 9-20 for picks on the day, so your
Fantastic.
Morning did not go great. You were
so good.
You're believing you had a six game run in a row where it just wasn't going well for you, but you picked it back up towards the end of the day to secure a couple points. I was 11-20 on the day, so I wasn't much better than you, but still over 500, which is always my goal here on the show. Biggest one that helped me out definitely was believing in Fit, which hell yeah, love that. Shout out Texas boys. Next day for
Saturday, this was really when we started to see more impact from the weather that was coming in. It was starting to get more and more crazy. I would also say towards the end of the day, it also did start to dry up too. So it was this weird kind of changing landscape that we saw all day, where towards the beginning it was really slippery, and towards the end it was very sticky. What's up,
Jordan, did you notice he didn't go over the scores on Saturday, which were 11-10 in the favor
I thought that was weird.
It was real weird.
We were discussing it, and all of a sudden we just transitioned into the weather and the condition. It's like, all right, where's it going with that?
It's almost like I'm a storyteller trying to tell a story. It's almost like, if you guys noticed, I went through the rest of the games on Friday and then talked about the numbers.
Climax on that one there.
God, okay, this is what sucks when you work with fucking rookies like this, because what I was gonna do was go through the storylines of Saturday and what the games happened, and then tell you the statistics and let Fitz have his moment in the sun. But now he ruined it because he wanted to pre-cum way too early. So this is what we get on the show now. So let's give you the numbers right now so Fitz can fucking jizz his pants. 11 and 21 on the day, which is actually funny because you still had a worse percentage on the day because you actually thought Infamous would mercy a team and they didn't. So 11 and 21 on the day for Fitzy. 10 and 20 for myself, which led to an overall percentage for Fitz of 20 and 41, which is 49% on his picks overall. Myself was 21 and 40, which is 53% overall. Having that extra pick definitely didn't help, including that it was wrong. But going over the storylines of Saturday, as I was saying, since it was slippery in the morning and kind of that like sticky wet mud in the end of the day, I wanted to get Jordan's opinion on how does that change the game of paintball. A lot of people play on turf now. They don't have to deal with kind of the natural grass and mud that's going on, and it actually looks like maybe Jordan's having to deal with his dog situation going on. That is a very common problem in the Boyum household. The Cooper likes to run his life, and
we should have a dog podcast.
Are you gonna bring your dog in too? We get the dog episode of the show. The show is so off the rails. God damn it, Fitz, you fucked me. You fucking autistic. Oh God, you triggered me. But yeah, Jordan, finally getting back to my point, because I did have one there. How is it playing in the different playing conditions when you have these like weather soaked events?
I mean, it could be difficult, especially, from California. You're not experiencing too much of an adversity to weather, so you're playing on turf all the time, like you mentioned. Playing in the rain is far different from playing in the sunny California weather. Wind's another factor. So you got rain, wind, slippery conditions. Guys don't bring the right cleats. They're not prepared for it. Even the pit crew matters at that point. Just managing the conditions of the paint and the pods and keeping them clean. That's one thing with paintball is you got to keep everything clean as much as possible, and then you're literally playing in a mud fest. So it can dramatically affect the way the guns shoot, how you're moving on the field, where you can get to, where you can't get to. It changes everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that was something. I mean, we did see on Saturday a lot of the experienced teams. I mean, the Heats, the Damages, the Red Legions, teams that do have kind of that backing and that good, kind of fundamental pit crew structure. They were able to play through it and still, kind of secure their wins. But there definitely was teams that had troubles with that, and even teams that have good pit structures. Dynasty is notorious for having one of the most regimented and taken care of pit crews. And yeah, they dropped to X Factor. I mean, it was a close game. And I would not say pits were necessarily the reason why, but that is something that, good divisional guy out there, hey, focus on your pits. If you ever see that coming up for another event in the future, that is definitely something you want to invest into and focus on.
Dynasty, I think they were an outlier at that tournament. Losing Marcelo early in the tournament was huge. I don't know how much you've actually spent watching Dynasty play, but without Marcelo, it was huge dynamic missing.
Yeah.
He quarterbacks the field better than pretty much anyone at this time right now playing. If you're really watching, a lot of things kind of go through Marcelo when it comes to communication on the field.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point because we still saw some great points from Archie. He was able to produce from that one spot with the, kind of the snake setup, but it just still wasn't enough because he was able to win his side potentially, but, they weren't able to connect it all together and win the 5v5.
Well, Archie wasn't having his best tournament. And they don't really have any other snake players right now. I think they're missing a guy, Michael Urena, something like that.
I mean, he left out of the roster.
They got Arturo, but I think they had him playing a different role, or he wasn't. I'm not sure. I don't, you know,
Arturo's more been on the Dorito side as of recent, but he is kind of a flex player. He fills in a position.
Yeah. And on a balanced layout like that, like I already mentioned, you're losing breakouts. One of your field generals is down, so the dynamic of the team is off. They were primed pretty early in that tournament to get upset, so I'm not surprised by the outcome. It's not what I would have liked. I'm a fan of Dynasty, so I would have liked them to go deep. I think they pull off a lot of miracle wins, and it's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I think
that didn't happen. So
real quick to stay on the conversation of teams that were maybe surprises in a negative way, Infamous was another one. Coming off of a pretty good showing in Vegas, they weren't able to put it together on this layout. You've played with quite a few members of that Infamous squad. What do you think maybe went wrong for them during this event?
Well, if you know Infamous, you know the players on the team. They like to play extremely methodical. They try to take more of a damage approach. How can we play the field as efficient as possible with minimal risk? Which is great in most aspects, and you're going to beat a lot of teams and go deep into tournaments. But at that specific layout, being as balanced as it is, teams that were willing to take risk and continue to hammer that idea through the whole process, I feel like was on the winning end. I mean, aggression is going to pay off more times than it's not. So when you don't have that in your card, in your toolbox, it's going to be tough. You're creating a disadvantage to yourself versus the opponent because you just don't have that in your wheelhouse. You're not willing to take the risk, or when you need to, you're not ready for it, prepared, because maybe the entire time you were trying to break down the layout, you're trying to figure out how to slow the field down instead of how to just play fast with the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what their practice, how their focus was.
Yeah, it's outside looking in. Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, we weren't there, but I'd imagine with their coaching, they got some good coaches, they got good support, they got high-level players with great paintball minds. I would think that they've kind of uncovered every rock, but when they got to the tournament, obviously what they had prepared was not effective.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had some close. I want to say they had a couple close matches, some bad calls didn't go their way. I don't think it was entirely that they just didn't play well.
No, I think the 0-4 on paper looks worse than they actually did perform during the tournament. Yeah. But I still would say it was definitely not a Sunday looking performance. Like, it wasn't like they got cheated of anything. They definitely needed to figure out that layout a little bit better. I mean, hell, if there was another layout weekend still, potentially they would have still had a good event, but it just they weren't picking it up completely. Through the middle is what I kind of, teams that were successful were producing a lot of results through the middle. I mean, we brought it up on this Picks show before the event. We were talking like, Aftershock, our biggest question was, well, is A-Rod going to be able to get up there and repeatedly perform, or is it going to be kind of a one and done type moment? And he did. And I was going to transition into this team next, but Aftershock came out and surprised everyone, going 3-1 in the prelims. I don't think anyone was necessarily expecting that. I think they were maybe expecting more competitiveness than what we saw from Vegas, but it definitely, I think, turned some heads.
Aftershock's scrappy. They got a lot of players on the team that are capable of making big moves, and they're not afraid to take risk. And like we've already mentioned a few times, I mean, that field was tailor-made for a team like Aftershock. They're scary, they're scrappy, they got great center play out of A-Rod, and well-timed moves. I mean, they were just constantly throwing punches, and people just kind of sat on their heels on them.
And honestly, I think great play from their snake as well. Hoskins coming in as a rookie essentially for that squad. He wasn't a standout liability or anything of that sort. I mean, there was definitely a couple points where, there was some experience difference and you could see where he made some mistakes, but he came in and produced. He did his job and helped his team get to a 3-win prelims, which is still pretty good.
Yeah, Todd's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he sees talent, and he knows how to put the pieces in the right place. I was surprised to not see Clay Hughes out there. Because he's underrated, but Hosky's the guy right now, and he was cooking at the tournament most of the time. So the coaching staff probably felt like he was the best, giving the team the best chance for success over there. And a lot of times in pro, that's just how it goes. If you're rolling, I mean, it's best play. It's not, let's try to get guys in. You got to roll with your hot hand.
Yeah, no, for sure. And especially like you've seen that with paintball terms times and times again. Yes, you can't play every point, but dude, if a guy's just drilled in off the break, you don't want to take him out. You don't want to forcibly sit him.
That and paintball's a lot of mental, but to get into that mental flow state, that's going to get you the consistency. You got to get the repetitions. And so when you're flowing, you got to ride that out. And if you looked actually with all the stats that have been coming out for the teams, I actually like what they've been doing there because I've been paying attention. And I always watch and see, okay, who is playing all the points? And they have those stats on there. And if you notice, a lot of the pro teams, it's 3 to 4 guys that play almost 90 to 95% of the points. And then there's only 1 or 2 trade off. And right away, all right, that's probably a front guy just rotating to keep fresh. However they want to run the team. But for the most part, it's solid 5. You're going to see 60% of the lineup playing all the points.
Yeah, no, and that is something I've noticed as well myself. Teams that maybe even I thought that there was more kind of diversity in the lineups. You just start to see over time with the stats. Oh wow, damn, okay, so and so insert team here only runs these 4 guys. I will also say there was one other team I wanted to talk about from Thursday before we jump into the final side of things, and it was probably a team that you have a little bit of a personal connection to, but I think they surprised people as well. Another die team, Ironman showed up, and after having a couple years of not really good looking events, just kind of nothing really formulating for them, they were able to put it together here, and probably one of their strongest looking events in the past couple of years. From what I've seen of Ironman rosters. No offense, Jordan.
None taken. With Ironman now this year, their biggest thing is chemistry. If you notice that in this last event, I think showed it the most. And this is a huge test for them actually going into next week, because that's one of the things that I want to speak about when we get to that part with the bracket. Is Ironman was doing really well in Texas, and the chemistry was good. It was solid. Very consistent. They ran the same 5 guys almost every single point, the same suspects. And I think that's a huge tell as to who they trust and where the dynamic of the team is right now. And it's really just within 5 players, and that's all Ironman needed. That was all they needed last year and the year before that. They just needed 5 guys to work together and play well, because they always had talent on the team. Ironman doesn't just pick guys up that aren't good at paintball. They're all pros. It's just getting those 5, 6, 7 guys to mentally connect on the field to build that chemistry, so then the playbook can actually be played out correctly.
I guess to challenge you on this a little bit, would you maybe say that almost maybe there was some momentum building during this event, that maybe having the couple weeks of delay might hurt this roster going into it?
Stuff. I think that does play an element to this tournament, that I've personally had Ironman doing pretty well based on what I saw over that weekend, but now I may change my picks because they don't practice together all the time. I think they do primarily have a Northeast team, a Northeast roster now, so they may have been able to get together a few times. But what's that look like at practice when 2 or 3 guys are playing together? I'm not sure. And I think that does potentially affect the team. Yeah,
versus a team like maybe, the ML Kings, who made Sunday, and most of those guys are in Florida. And I guarantee they've probably put a lot of time into that Lone Star layout at this point.
I'm sure they've been looking at Blast Camp and looking for ways that they can expose them to try to move on to the next leg of the bracket there.
Yeah,
on Thursday.
Kings, kind of getting on a little bit, but Kings are definitely one of those teams that they're a young and hungry team, and if they see an opportunity where, guys, we just got 4 extra weeks to practice and study every single team, I think those guys are motivated enough to take it seriously and try to take advantage of that.
I agree. They have their main 5 that they like, and they play well together. I think a lot of teams make the mistake of sleeping on them, and I've played against them many times. I don't think I've maybe beat them once in the 3 years I was pro, and they're just a scrappy little team that just plays really well together, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't give up easy kills. They usually are up bodies, and Kyle Berry's on the field. He's going to find a way to kind of joystick some players into taking advantage of it.
No, I don't disagree with that take at all. Moving on from this, as we mentioned, kind of going from our podcast perspective, Fitzy was on the lower side of that. We need to like make some sort of punishment moving forward. So for like the lowest pick, guy for some percentage. Don't you agree? Fitz, I need your input here. I'm trying to get you back into the show. You haven't said anything in 20 minutes.
No, I've just been listening, learning. Listen.
This is
I'm
what happens with Jordan,
so
though.
I get my picks correct.
This is the problem with doing podcasts with Jordan
is
he'll lull you to sleep because his voice. It's a great tone and he knows so much, but you gotta keep engaged.
No. I know when I need to learn, and my picks and my scores have shown that I need to learn.
That is true. That is definitely true. But going in, I guess I wanted to pick your brain as well. Kind of, did you have any kind of final thoughts on how the prelims went from this last event?
Yeah, it's super surprising. I mean, you're seeing all the teams like Jordan was talking about just like getting a flow going or like having those guys click. Seeing Diesel, making the Sunday. Like that's
everyone kind of wrote them off
be on every Sunday, right?
Yeah, no, but they definitely were getting wrote off, and I think they surprised people with that. I think Revo is another team that did that a bit. It's a different roster this year. It's a different looking Revo.
Yeah, but we've seen Revo on Sundays, multiple times last year. We saw him,
different roster though, and that's the thing because I think a lot of those guys went over to this Ironman team that is now clicking really well. So it's interesting for sure. We already brought up one Aftershock. But we talked about ML Kings a little bit. Maybe Blast Camp. I guess that would be. I know they're they're kind of local to you a little bit. Have you heard anything from the camp? What's going on over there with those boys?
They're really good dudes. I haven't heard a lot from the camp. Now, like Tyler would know a lot more news.
Yeah.
About T Smith, he would know a lot more news about Blast Camp. He's there like almost every weekend, messing around with those guys. But I mean, it's a Blast Camp's obviously a surprise, right? Like, we didn't think we feel like, oh, it's a standard layout, or what we thought was a standard layout. Something we see a ladder snake, ladder Doritos. The mid kind of threw a lot of people off. I think
the hot tub pool.
But so I just didn't expect Blast Camp to make it out of their bracket. Right.
No, we did it on the show. That's actually one of our biggest losses was actually just picking against Blast Camp. And like we said on the show, that was one of our show us type events. All right, cool. Blast Camp, you put me on notice a little bit. You guys can show up and play some good paintball. And I think that's not only good for you guys as an organization, but it does. I would say it is kind of unfortunate for them who they drew going into the playoffs, just because it's probably one of the few teams that, like them, is going to practice together and get really good on this layout. And so, let's say maybe they pulled I'm trying to think who else is in this bracket. Someone like X Factor, maybe. A lot of those guys are in Texas, but kind of similar thing to what Jordan was saying with Ironman, whereas your main pieces still are in different areas and would have to come in and, do extra practice and such.
Yeah, obviously the Blast Camp guys are practicing every weekend. The ML King guys are practicing every weekend. Yeah. Just like Jordan said, like that's gonna play a big role probably, over the last 4 weeks.
I think those teams are pretty evenly matched for different reasons. I've actually had the opportunity of playing against Blast Camp at practice when I was on the Ironman, and I think that team is actually really good. There's a couple players on that team that are really crafty, and the young guy Jackson, I think his name's Jackson, the bigger kid.
No, wait, Frey.
His communication skills, Frey, Jackson Frey. Yeah, his communication skills are pretty high level, honestly. His IQ is pretty good. His movement on the closeouts is I'm not going to compare him to Yosh Rao, but he reminds me kind of when I'm watching Yosh, I could understand like how he could get to that level if he just continues to work hard.
Like that's kind of his game style would be similar to him, you'd say.
I agree.
Yeah,
just good closer, always gives his team a chance to win in the end because he's alive and he's talking and he's not giving up on the fight.
And as we've learned with statistics, survivability is huge. I mean, there's so many you could see from these teams who are doing well in the prelims. If you look at their statistics, their survivability not only off the break but throughout the point is a lot higher than the teams who aren't. And obviously, some of those are going to start to get lopsided as you get a 5-on-2 situation or something like that. But the off the break numbers do definitely start to tell that picture of like, okay, just having 5 guns means a lot more than necessarily killing one of their guy.
Yeah. It does. But if you can play 5-on-4 all weekend, you're going to have a lot better chance at winning a lot more points.
Yeah.
You just got to understand what to do with that. You got to understand where the opportunity is on the 5-on-4, and then don't give it up. I think that's one of Dynasty's things is you get up bodies, you don't give it up. And that's something that all pro teams kind of stress and focus in on.
Well,
How do we get up bodies and not give it up?
It's something I've heard Maddie, I want to say maybe on Ghost Sports broadcast. I know I've heard him talk about it before, but just the concept of you should never lose your up body points. You know, if however they get a penalty or something, however you get up bodies, those should be automatic dubs, because if they're not, now you're making the hard points the points that you have to win. And so you're just making the game harder for yourself when you aren't taking advantage of those strong point opportunities.
That's why the younger teams, at least at this last tournament, were so scrappy and scary to play against, and there was a lot of upsets, is because at this point, anyone that's getting into pro or is in there now, I think the best thing they can do is when they do go down bodies, a lot of times dying moving forward, you'll hear that a lot. Dying moving forward,
Dying your sword
is powerful, because you can make that quick move, and J-Rab does a really good job of it. If his guy dies in front of him, he auto fills into the spot, and it's almost like the front guy never died. And he's right back into his spot, shoots a guy, and it went from 4-on-5 to 4-on-4. And he's in a good spot. Now he's got positional advantage and the even body count just off that autofill on a death. And like that timing and vision and field awareness is huge. And that's why the best players in the world are so good at it. But these younger teams, if they just get in the mindset of to continue dying moving forward, I think it's going to give them better chances to get in spots on the field that are going to potentially bring that number game back. And then honestly, you don't really want to play those long 3-on-3s with the better, more experienced teams, like a team like Heat, because those guys are just straight up smarter than you. And the more time you give them, the more time they're going to figure out how to beat you.
It's like playing in the casino, the longer you're playing, the worse your odds are going to get.
And I know that from getting beat down by Impact for 5-6 years out of Capital Edge, that all the long points, low body situations, we were not victorious often because we tried to sit on our heels and figure it out, and they figured it out faster.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is at that point. It's just a time game, who's gonna get the right spot quicker. And I will say, one of the things to relate when you were talking about the J-Rab pushing up, one of the most powerful things about that move is because it keeps that pressure applied. Let's say that one was in a good spot on the field to not only contain parts of the field, but just make it so your twos aren't comfortable. They can't just be big body holding whatever lane they want. And if you get rid of that pressure, now that two is probably instantly gonna be like, oh, thank God, and then start to come back out. Well, now there's an opening if you can get to that spot and reapply that pressure to maybe pick up on someone else's mistake. And that's kind of, I guess, that's why he's trying to do those fast fills.
That's something you don't really think about or maybe pay attention to, the average person, but eliminating the gunfight is a factor. Getting better field position eliminates the gunfight a lot of times. And in pro, everyone understands that gunfights a lot of times are 50-50. Why would you take a 50-50 chance when you can make two spots forward, and now it's like an 80% chance you're gonna hit that guy in the pack?
Mm-hmm. No,
without even having to use any effort to risk a gunfight.
Yeah, it's the more I don't want to say easier, but it's the more efficient way to win a game. Instead of having to take the like you said, the gamble, the dice roll of does his paint hit me, does mine hit him first? If dude's not even looking at you and you can hit their pack, well, you're gonna win every single time at that point usually.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously gunfights are an element of the game, and they're always going to be there. And in certain situations, you're going to have to. And the best gunfighters are going to be victorious more often than not, and that's why they're great. But if you can eliminate that as a factor or try to avoid them when you can and just gain positional advantage, I feel like that is a more methodical way to win on the field.
Mm-hmm. And not have to rely on being better mechanically.
Yeah, it's just a tool.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. I love some of your insight there, and we're definitely going to get more of that next week as we dive more into the AC prelim side of stuff. But for now, we do need to make our picks and decisions for the Texas finals. So let's jump into the wild card round. As we were mentioning there, we do have two games in this round. We have Revo versus Diesel to start us out. We will start there with that one. I'll get us going. I'll kind of go out on a limb here.
I'm liking Diesel in this game. I think we were definitely seeing a lot more of a put together AC Diesel, a team that was working together instead of kind of working against each other, which we saw at previous events from them. And I mean, Revo, like we said, it's not one of those teams that, like an ML Kings, a Blast Camp, is going to be grinding this double days every single weekend. I know those guys are definitely practicing. They're definitely putting time in. But I just, I don't think they're going to have a huge advantage from that perspective. I think if you put these two teams together from the end of last event, I would have gone Diesel as well. So I think with the break, it doesn't, introduce all that much change. So I'm going to take Diesel to win this and move on to the quarters.
What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Diesel, but I feel like it's more momentum. And I like a lot of the guys on Diesel. I've always been a huge fan of some of the guys that play on that team. I think Mark Johnson just won an ICPL. I'm pretty sure he just won.
Yep.
So there's a little momentum there with a couple pieces from the roster. They figure out how to win on 10-man field. You can win on an X-ball field.
All right.
But outside of that, honestly, the guys that are getting paid a lot of money to be on that team, it's time for them to show their value and show their worth, and this is their opportunity to go out there and get it done. I'm sorry, you're getting paid a lot of money to play paintball. It's time to show your value, because at this point, a lot of people are just, I'm sure Mark as well, and I don't know Mark really personally, but I'd imagine that he's a little irritated by his investment at this point. One of the first couple tournaments, okay, big deal, we're trying to build chemistry. You're year 2 and you're still not winning.
Yeah, you're not only not winning.
A chance to win.
Vegas, they went 1-3 in Vegas, 0-4 in Vegas.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah,
yeah, for the amount of money. Yeah, that's.
You have
and after a year,
championship pedigree on that roster. That's what
multiple
blows my
time
mind.
cross, Millennium and America Series at the same time. Like, there's guys who know how to win at the highest levels on that team.
Pro's hard. I'll give them that. A lot of guys are really good at the game. They've had enough time to come together as a team. I expect that championship pedigree to show up and start leading. That's what I'm thinking. They need to take down Revo, and they need to build that confidence in themselves, because I think after Revo they're going to see the Ironman.
Yep.
And challenge only gets harder. I would say Revo is, or not Revo, Ironman was looking like a better team than Revo. So, let's say you do win that first match. All right, now you got to go play what some people would say is a better team at that point.
Maybe so.
We'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that in a second. I know you can just go and go and go. I love talking to you, Jordan. But Fitz, I need your input as well. Revo or Diesel, who you picking?
It's Revo. I mean, I think they did win the ICPL, but I think Revo will come out and they'll restore order. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least we don't all have the same picks. So one of us is gonna lose.
Jordan, you're gonna be upset with the way this man chooses his teams, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's real bad.
49%. It's okay. Let's move on to the next game in that wild card category. We got ML Kings and Blast Camp, a game we've talked about a little bit already during this show. This is kind of a hard one for me, because I think, honestly, I could see either of these teams winning this match. I think it kind of depends on who shows up that morning in Atlantic City. I want to say Kings. I like what Kyle Berry and all those guys are doing down there. I also think that I think Nico is actually playing with them this event, Jordan. So that also is kind of another biased thing for me. I want to see my boy do good. So I think for me, I am going to go Kings on this matchup, but I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys on the podcast. It would not surprise me if Camp wins the game.
All right.
I thought Jordan was going to jump in there next, but
No.
I was waiting to let you finish your thing.
Yeah, and then you guys are going to go Camp. Okay.
Congratulations, Nico Esposito. I can't pronounce his last name. Sorry, Nico.
Esposito, yeah. Hawaiian boy.
Hawaiian boy. Hopefully he cut his hair for his pictures. He looks like a little rag doll, but that's all right. Do your thing. congrats to him. It's great that he's going to get the opportunity to play pro, although I don't think his first pro match is going to be a W. I think that ML Kings, I feel like, usually start slow. And
It's a valid
to
point.
travel up to the Northeast, play your first match in a Sunday field match, win or go home. Yes, I think they're two equally matched teams, but I just think Blast Camp's just going to thrive in the opportunity that it's their first Sunday appearance, first year pro. They're gonna go get one. I think they're gonna get that one.
Yeah.
I think
be
that
hyped.
one it's gonna be scrappy. I think it's gonna be close, but I could see it being like a 6-5 game with Blast Camp edging it out.
I would guess the thing that maybe would tilt this in ML King's favor a little bit is just there is some experience with Harris. I mean, he is a dude who's played in the Pro Leagues for a while. Is he still playing with them? I thought he was.
Harris
I
played
remember seeing him on that
7
roster. No.
I just recently saw their
Sorry.
stat line.
I'm not saying on the field. I'm
He's
just
got
saying.
the stats up too. Because I'm looking at the stats too. Because I'm
Nice
like,
job.
Harris
7
played
points.
7
He did
minutes.
not
Yeah.
contribute. He did not contribute to their success.
Can I please get my point out there? Because all I was gonna say is I don't think on the field he's gonna help, but I think there could potentially be that moment where he can get some of those young guys settled down and they could perform. That's all I was gonna say. I mean, you got to be devil's advocate. I get that you guys both love Camp. I would like to see Camp go on as well because I think that is cool if we can have a rookie team make it to a quarterfinals, semifinals, potentially finals, maybe even. That would be dope. But I'm gonna go Kings on this one still.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Good.
Blast
I like
Camp's got
the adversity.
Yeah, the Blast Camp's got the off the break survival. Their guns up are off the break, and I like Kyle Berry, but he can't carry it by himself,
No, that's definitely true.
I'm going Camp. It's gotta be a camps, and honestly, they've all been practicing together. That's a big thing. I mean, ML King's probably practicing.
The majority of those guys are down in the South too. I think
Right.
there's a couple
I wanna
Latinos, but
say- yeah, I want to say with the Kings as well. I could be wrong, but if I remember the tournament correctly, because I did watch every single pro match for the first time ever, obviously because I wasn't at the tournament, and I watched every single one from my office, and I remember the Kings didn't really start thriving until weather conditions changed. And I think that's what got them into Sunday is they played better on day 2. I want to say that's what happened, but I could be wrong. I just feel like they've had they're usually a slow starting team, and that's tough to just show up Thursday and play a finals match.
yeah, due to the situation. I was doubling back real quick. Day 1 they played Impact in their last game. I'm trying to find their first game. I don't
Did they
see.
beat Impact? I can't remember.
Impact beat them. And then what was?
It was close though.
I don't see their other match here on the list. I don't know why. Oh, they were playing the Bears. They beat the Bears as well. So yeah, so Impact, they were close with them. Bears, they were able to get that dub as well. I mean, they went 2-0 on Sunday. So yeah, or Saturday. They definitely played, you could say on statistics better on Saturday. But yeah, I do think you make a very valid point there with being, hey, your first game of a tournament weekend is for your finals life. Go play. Because there's a lot of teams that show up kind of sleepy in those first matches.
Blast Camp's got nothing to lose. They're just gonna throw darts, man. I think a lot of those darts are gonna
Just
connect.
be pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're still in
Sunday.
the rainy season too. In this Midwest to the East Coast, we're still in the rainy season, and all we play in is in the rain.
so they're fired up.
Are we
they're
seeing
ready.
rain in the weather in the early forecast and the 7-day forecast?
I don't know. Pull up the 10-day.
Yeah, let's see.
yeah,
Let's
10-day.
get this up. I'll get it up here on my
10-day.
phone real quick. We need like an attractive weather girl to do the weather for us. That would be an awesome feature if we could just like kick it to her in another studio or something real quick.
Girls?
Yeah, but
Fitz, that's gonna be you actually. All right. I got my map up, pulling up for AC. No, not Austin. That was the last city that we were in.
No, but yeah, I mean, that's all we play in is the rain up here. And then, like, with Blast Camp, obviously, like, the rain, they did better. So it's, yeah I don't know. I think they're primed to go pretty far on a Thursday. On that Thursday to finish it out.
On the 10-day forecast, we're looking at sunny and pretty good weather. Maybe some humidity and some hot days, but nothing rain related. No clouds even really. So looking from as of now, it's going to be kind of a normal event. So let's move on to the quarters, which are going to take place on this weird Thursday that we have going on before the AC event. Starting it off, top of the bracket, we have Diesel playing Ironman. We talked about this a little bit already, but just kind of final thoughts on this, Jordan. Who do you think is going to be coming out from this game?
I think Diesel gets this one. If they get through Revo, they're getting through Ironman. I think it's literally the same team twice in a row. Ironman's first match, I think they've. I follow social media on a lot of the players. I think they've maybe practiced twice together since the tournament. It's not enough.
Nope.
I don't think it's enough.
Not when the layout is there for everyone to practice. I guess, if you're looking at a thing like where you only have that week of time to really dive in and get better, maybe you could say having just a lot of time devoted in that time's fine, like we see a lot of these pro teams start to do now with the kind of new practice periods. But
then you go momentum. Diesel wins the first match. You got to play the bracket out. The whole story starts to develop, right? Well, Diesel wins the first match. They're running hot off a first match. Ironman hasn't played a tournament together in 2 months. And they run into a buzzsaw because Mouse is on the team still.
Yeah, and I guess that is a good point as well, because I didn't think about this, but some of that roster did just play together at ICPL, so they have playing in the shit down in Dallas. You want to build some camaraderie, that'll definitely do it for you. So I think those are storylines that are going to be a factor going into these games.
All right.
Yeah.
Put me down for Diesel.
All right, I got you, Jordan. What you same thing, Fitzy? You just copying him?
No, because I didn't have Diesel. So
you didn't have Diesel.
Oh, that's true.
So, but I gotta go with the boys. I gotta go with the Ironman. I think like Jordan said, you gotta play out the storyline, but this is where the story switches, and then the Ironman, mess up the storyline, and then they go on to the semifinals. You know what I mean?
This could be a run back of March Madness. Fitz's bracket could be messed up day one. But me as well, so same thing, really. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we've got 2 Diesels and an Ironman coming out of that first quarterfinals game. Next up on the list, we have Heat playing X Factor in that second game of the quarterfinals. I guess I'll take a first stab at this one. I made Jordan go last time. I think this is an interesting one because we see 2 of these kind of super teams that, how much have they been working together? I mean, a lot of the teams for these, or a lot of players for these teams live in different parts of the country. I want to go Heat based off some of the stuff they've been doing recently. If we're going off that, playing together, having some good camaraderie over this kind of last little month break almost between the events. I mean, X Factor too, they were looking good. Axel is a damn good paintball player. Billy as well is looking still pretty good, in some of these points, but I think I'm kind of talking myself out of it still. I think I am going to go Heat on this one. That's what I'm going to throw down before you guys get into it. Fitz, how about you pull the next one for us?
It's gonna be Heat. I watched him in the woods. We all played
gonna
in the woods last week.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And watching those boys, lay down some paint, it's gonna be.
All right, so you got Heat coming out of this Heat X Factor matchup.
If they can dodge all those twigs out there, they can dodge paintballs. It'll be fine.
You could dodge a bullet. Okay. You could dodge a ball. Jordan, what? Who do you got in this matchup?
Man, originally my previous bracket when the tournament was going on was Heat. I'm gonna stick with Heat, but with good playing conditions, the way Axel Godin's been playing, X Factor is going to be pretty scary on that field. Mm-hmm. Axel's been a menace on the snake side. If you guys watched the European tournament, I mean, he was putting on a clinic. It was insane.
He kind of just goes in pub stomps. That's kind of what the NXL European tournament looks like. Like him and Tauntauns just definitely are a solid team over there. It's ridiculous.
They're a well-oiled machine. They're very connected. They've been great friends and family for years, and they know how to play paintball together.
Well, for sure.
And they got Axel Godin. He's like 4'11", 5'1". You can't even see him off the break, and then he's in your snake 3. in like
in 20 seconds,
like
and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, less than that, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shit. So it's
And
even
he
worse.
doesn't miss. And he doesn't miss. He's super accurate.
He's so quick. I
Hell
keep
yeah.
forgetting about Axel. I always forget about
Dude,
Axel.
how did you forget about Axel, bro?
I don't know.
No, I like that, and I think that is a good point. Maybe this matchup's probably not the best one if you're looking to gamble out there. We don't have odds on the quarter on all of these games just yet. They will be coming out soon on Kirgo.
Disclaimer, sorry. Kirgo.com. I get that. But I think the winner of this match wins the tournament. Small disclaimer.
Yeah. Okay. You're thinking one of these two is going to come out and take it. All right. I like that. And what I was going to say is, because these two teams are so close, this may not be a great spot to bet on either Heat or X Factor, but the winner of this game might be a good one to kind of keep your eye out as we go later on throughout the day. Moving forward, next up we have our kind of, a team who should be here and a team that shocked us a little bit. We have Aftershock versus Damage. I'm kind of excited to watch this game. I think this is one of the first games, the quarterfinals wildcards that we have that I'm most excited to watch. Just because I think the way these two teams stack up, it'll be pretty spicy.
Damage is going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
On the line, just from the past scores, they're going to be the favorite.
No, you're not wrong. I would see that.
But Aftershock is probably going to pull up an upset.
Calling it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going with Aftershock, just because they're gonna be the underdog, maybe like minus 200 on the money line, or no, plus 200 on the money line, and then So
I think right now, as like a insight to my gambling view, I think I am gonna take their money line with you. Do I pick them for my bracket? I feel like picking against Damage. Same time zone. They're on the East Coast.
Betting against Tom Brady, bro.
Yeah, it's like I don't ever feel comfortable doing that. But I mean, I see what you're saying. If they're getting good odds, I actually could like them from a gambling perspective. But I think in my bracket, I am going to take Damage. They're just they're the more reliable team on both paper and what we've seen from them so far this year. The explosive tack of Keith Brown. I mean, dude, it's one of the fastest guys in the league and get wherever he wants when he wants to. You also have some very smart players in the Edwards brothers and Rainey and how they break down a field and work through teams. But at the same time, Aftershock, it looked really good. Like we mentioned, some of the highlights already was A-Rod's presence in the center, as well as some of their ones attacking pressure from both Hosky and the Dorito side. And then, I mean, yeah, they have great guys who can hold it down in the back too. Yeah, it's so hard to pick when you're coming into a one-day event like this, but I think for me, I am going to have to go Damage. Jordan, you're the last one, so it's on you.
Yeah, I would love to take Aftershock just because I do like the style they play. But good playing conditions, Keith Brown, the Edwards brothers, like you mentioned, I mean, they got a solid starting five. I feel like in this matchup, penalties are going to kill Aftershock.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a problem for them. So I'm
Reds
going
or yellows?
I think it's a mix. There's probably going to be about 3 penalties in that match.
Couple redheads, maybe a blonde or two.
Well, A-Rod was getting away with a lot at the Texas tournament, and I feel like, I mean, he always rides the line, which is respectable. It's just, when you ride that line, maybe you had one weekend where things go your way. Next weekend may not. So
but
I
it's
feel
not
like
even a weekend. You need a day. You need 8 points for your first game to go your way. So it's like it's just getting tightening, that kind of.
And Trent Nitta was having a great tournament as well. And I feel like Trent is really good at paintball. It's just I haven't seen consistency yet from him. And he was having a really good weekend. Not to say that he couldn't have a good weekend next weekend. I'm just saying that it's the highs and lows.
No, but I think that's fair.
With the inexperience, you're not sure what you're going to get. So I'm going to go with the consistency and what we can all trust in Damage to handle business on the first match out against Aftershock.
Yeah, no, and I think that is a great way to put that, because it's not, it's not necessarily saying someone's going to have a bad event or something like that. It's just saying it's hard to predict. It's a little easier to predict what Dynasty is going to do just because we've seen them do it for 20 years. But when you have these new teams, these blast camps, these fits, these teams that are coming in, and even these new players that are coming in for some of these teams, it's hard to know what version you're going to get, what layout's going to play to them, and just all those variables are more up in the air. I do. Yes.
Sorry, and Aftershock does not practice together.
It's another good point. Yep.
So there you go.
Now some of those people have been playing together.
Oops.
I chose damage as well. So what the fuck are you talking about, Fitz?
I forgot about Keith Brown. I always forget about the snake guy. It's not my job to shoot the snake guy. It's Kyle.
They're the best.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
But it's not my job.
They're like the receivers or something. They're the playmakers.
Yeah. You're just not counting the whole receiver core and being like, well, their tight ends are
Kyle
good.
shoots him, says he's gone, and then I'm done.
That line. He's a mean guy.
Dude, that outside linebacker, bro, his name's Chris Odom. He's fucking filthy, bro. It's crazy.
That guy is savage, but yeah.
Yeah, shout outs, Chris. Let's move on to our last game of the quarterfinals. We're getting through this. We have an old school team here, Red Legion, playing against the winner of either Kings or Blast Camp. So for my bracket is going to be ML Kings. For your bracket is going to be Blast Camp for the both of you guys. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Legion on mine.
Can we all three agree?
Yeah. We're all gonna do that.
One through.
Okay, we're just gonna
the semis.
Just move on to the semis.
We're good with that.
Yeah.
Russian Legion, they're gonna steamroll whoever runs into them, so that's fun.
Yeah.
We're playing that field better than anyone, and if they're all healthy, that's gonna be scary for anybody.
Yeah, that's an easy pick.
I would definitely. I would tend to agree.
Malloy, did you guys watch the European event at all?
Yeah.
I didn't check out much of it. I've been out of the loop a little bit.
Yeah, Malloy is playing on another level, man.
Yeah.
This is gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah.
I mean,
motivated Russians are very good in paintball.
Oh yeah, J-Rab, that guy too.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. That purple beanie guy.
You guys ever heard of this kid? Yeah. Dustin, I think Rabikoff. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. New player, it'll be cool. But going into the semifinals, like you guys mentioned, this is where things are going to get interesting because we are kind of starting to get different picks here. So for myself, I have Diesel and Heat in this first semifinal match, and I think that does line up with Jordan as well. That is correct. And then Fitz is very similar. He is Iron Man and Heat. So I guess for me and Jordan, real quick. Like we said, I think the winner of the Heat X Factor match is going to go far.
It's Heat.
Dude, fuck. A part of me wants to choose Diesel. That's the sad thing, because it's like I want them to do well.
Yeah. Jordan
you
said
guys
earlier,
are right. That's the sad part.
Whoever won the Heat X Factor one is going into the finals, if not winning the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be lame and I'll choose Heat out of this as well because yes, I think you guys are right. But I think if there is a team that could upset Heat, it could be Diesel. I don't think that is a crazy thing to say. They have the players who could pull off that type of thing, and maybe they have been talking over this gap. They necessarily haven't been playing with each other, but I don't know. Maybe they've been putting something together that we're not ready for.
But do they have a
player? That's exactly the point I was gonna make. Player for player, Diesel cannot bang with Heat.
Mm. Yeah, no,
player for player.
Yeah, if you break down like whole entire roster, yeah.
Do they have a Harmon and do they have a Fetty? They don't have.
Do they have a Mishka? Do they have a Chad George? They have Connor. I mean, come on, man. They're stacked.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I was just.
They need to win a tournament.
And you guys didn't even mention Sam Montevill. So there's just so many people on that roster who are just so ridiculously good at paintball.
Crafty middle player that is not afraid to throw a punch and get someone off the field.
He's not afraid of anyone.
Like that is. That's what I'm saying, though. He's literally one of those guys that he understands that I'm going to go bunker this guy because it's going to allow my front guy to go down the field and shoot 4 of them.
Yeah, Connor's going to go win the point the second I do this because it's going to take the pressure off him.
That's right.
So
they'll go down a body to go up 3 bodies 10 seconds later. Like they play that game.
Quick maths.
It's amazing.
All right. Well, beautiful. So let's see here. All right. Me and Jordan, we've got Heat coming out of that. Fitz, since it's Ironman versus Heat, are you gonna also ride that as well?
Heat. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
do you have kind of any other thoughts about what's going on with Heat there, or anything else to add to your matchup? I guess.
No, it's just
Heat?
no.
All right.
Jordan said it right. It's
Perfect. Well, let's move on to the second semifinals. We're about to get out of the show, so let's wrap this on up. We got 2 more games to pick here. Damage and Red Legion. That is what I have in my side of the bracket, which actually matches up with Jordan as well. And then Fitz has Aftershock and Red Legion.
You guys go first.
Okay. If it is Damage Red Legion, tune into this match. That is going to be a good paintball game to watch, I think, in my opinion. But I think Red Legion is going to come out of it. I don't know why, I just do. I think the way that they were playing at that event.
Because they aren't human and they're robots. That is why they're going to win.
Okay, I've heard you say that for years about them, but it's true. Sergey has no emotions, and he just stomps and pounds, and they're really good at paintball. And one of the things I mentioned in our past shows was this question mark of what presence is J-Rab going to bring, and I think that question has been answered with a positive one. He's kind of bringing the team together, and it seems like he is elevating where they were from the past couple of years or the past couple of seasons that we saw previously of this Russian iteration. No, Fitzy? What? You there?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I got thunderstorms.
I agree. So, with the Russians, if you watch them previously, and this is just my perspective, they're always just go forward, go forward, go forward. Guys die, go forward. J-Rab adds that missing piece of guys died, where do I need to put myself to give us the best advantage?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to understand, but it's hard to explain, really. And it's almost like he provides more structure to their game plan. They're multi-dimensional now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
that's how I see it. Is they're all very good at gun skills. They're good at moving down the field. They're good at creative, quick burst moves. They're very good at those things, which most pro teams are. But now when a guy dies or the void needs to be filled, J-Rab can fill it, and he's alive to do it. And he also gives you a great shot off the break and great vision. So as long as he's alive to tell the story and be in position, ready to close, and Malloy's alive, they're probably not losing that point.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's a valid point. I think it was either the Texas or the Vegas show. That's, one of the things that we brought up was, the question was from the offseason, what is J-Rab bringing in? And to me, the answer has been more cohesion of kind of, putting it all together. The Russians have always been a team that is near the top of the conversation. They are legendary history. They put a lot of time and effort into being good at this sport, and you see the results from it. But I think what we've seen in the past was kind of a lack of a whole team. Like, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to win the paintball game. And I think maybe we are seeing more of that from the J-Rab, from this offseason. Maybe not just because of him coming in, maybe other reasons I don't know about, but that's what I've seen at least. Fitz, were you going to say something? I saw you're starting to get in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Russians. Obviously, the Russians are the pick. Just because, I mean, you're looking at the points won, they're all winning the same amount of points. Their survival rate is right around the same, except for obviously Justin Krill, who Jordan said, you just got to go in, got to get them out. And then Pavel, Sergey, and Alex are going in and just cleaning everything else up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Their guns are up off the break. They're getting to their spots. Yeah, it's an easy. It will be a good match, unfortunate pick. Yeah, it's gonna be scrappy.
It's gonna be a very good match. Probably a better match than the other semifinal match.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. Because. Look, if it's either Damage or Aftershock, I think neither one of those teams are going to take losing going down, or kind of calmly. So I think
another dynamic I just thought about. This is a Sunday finals appearance that Russians will not be tired.
Yeah,
that's scary.
That's true. Yeah,
they're going to be fresh.
Yeah, because they're not in the wild card. They're not. Yeah.
This is totally different. So I think for them, it's even better for them.
This is one of the best case scenarios they could find themselves in.
Their hot 5 is ready to go. No one's tired.
All right. Yeah. Well, final game here, boys. I think we actually have lined back up. The brackets have made their way to the same conclusion. So, from the sidelines, predicts that Houston Heat is going to be playing the Russian-led Red Legion for the finals for NXL Lonestar 2024. First off, if that happens, hell yeah, that'd be great. Love that. But if it does, who do we think is going to be coming out with it? Fitzy? I'm gonna make you go first, Fitz. Just get it out there.
Yeah. It's gonna be Heat. It's gonna be Heat. I'm gonna go with the AI. I'm gonna go with the AI. Go with the AI, and the AI said Heat was probably gonna win it.
What AI was that?
They say the Red Legion say.
No, what AI are you talking about?
It's gonna be Heat.
You gotta fill us in. What's the context?
Doesn't matter. It's gonna be Heat. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be hot, and it's gonna be a lot of flames, and it's gonna be a lot of heat. A lot of heat, and I think you'll see the Red Legion will fall, and Heat will be victorious on Thursday. Yep, that's what it'll be. Yep.
I think 100%. I'm gonna go Red Legion. I think I'm gonna go Red Legion.
So what do you have to do when you lose?
No.
No.
I don't know. I said
What's the score of the match gonna be?
I think both of these teams. Well, I think that will be interesting because of how this layout played. We were seeing either tight point games or.
Let's do the score. Let's do the score of the tiebreaker just in case we're even money because it's only a handful of matches.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like that.
4-2 Heat.
4-3 in overtime.
4-3 in OT.
+1 on the overtime.
There you go.
4-3 OT.
There you go. Yeah.
It sucks because.
Yep.
It's all right. You can say 6-0.
Nah.
Be bold, Ryan.
It's not gonna be a mercy. I mean, it's definitely not gonna be a mercy. I can tell you that. Don't bet on that.
That would be wild.
That would be wild. My problem is now I'm in this position where I would like to take Heat, but for the show it just makes no sense. So fuck it. Red Legion. Give me 5-2 Red Legion. There we go. There's my pick for the show.
Blowout.
I'm gonna say also for gambling wise, don't fucking take that because that's not what I think is actually gonna happen. But this is where we are. So that is gonna be my pick. 5-2 Russian Legion take the dub. Fitzy, you have Heat. Who are you taking for them? Or what's 4-3 is what you said?
Heat, no, Heat 4-2.
Heat 4-2.
And then Jordan's got the it was
4-3 overtime.
Yeah, Heat 4-3 in overtime. Should be a good finish.
He gets +1 on that one.
Yeah, it's a bonus point.
Yeah, that's the potential. All right, I like what you guys have done there. Backed me into a corner on live television. That's always good to do to your friends. But yeah,
TV?
So we'll see what happens. Yes, this is TV. This is it's a new form.
Oh man, that means there's a lot of words I can't say, which I'm gonna say.
No, you've probably already broken that rule today, but it's okay. YouTube won't come after us too harshly. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap this show up. I do have to remind everyone out there, just make sure you drop a rating on either this episode of the show or whatever podcast version you listen to. It really does help us out, and it takes just a few seconds to do, and it's free. Yeah, it doesn't cost you any money. It's a way you can support the brand and do absolutely no funding, no money, nothing like that. So you can also drop a subscription on those platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of that good stuff. We do have the Patreon side of everything as well. They get access to these shows early, ad-free versions, bonus content. There's some great reasons to be signed up over there. You can head over to patreon.com/Mafia_Productions to get all the great information. There is a free trial, so if you want to check it out for a week, see if it's worth it to you, you can definitely go do that. One more time at patreon.com/Mafia_Productions. We also have the merch website, XXV the label. They handle that for us. We appreciate them over there. Go grab a Stabbers Don't Get Stabbed shirt for yourself. And then our sponsors, 3 sponsors on tonight. NECTR Energy. Like I said, we did have a great podcast with them. Go check that out. Episode number 98 of the podcast. NECTR.energy. Use code MafiaProductions
Productions, all one word, buy 2 get 1 free at checkout. And Welts Clothing is the other one that we have on tonight. I like this shirt. It's tie-dye. It's a cool shirt. Don't you like the shirt, Fitz? It's a cool shirt.
It's a cool shirt. It's a very nice shirt. Welts Clothing.
There you go. I had to get him in somehow. I could tell he wasn't paying attention. But yeah, Wells Clothing, we love those guys. It's awesome to support them down there doing their thing. FTS is the promo code over there. And our last sponsor for tonight's show is probably one of the biggest ones, because we wouldn't be doing any of this if we didn't have stuff to bet on. And the place that you bet on things is curegoat.com. Make sure you grab a VPN and head on over to curegoat.com to place bets for not only the finals from Lone Star Major, but the prelims and all the finals action from the Atlantic City event. They'll have odds going all weekend. There are already some live for the finals, so go check those out. You can get some early bets in, or just get your account ready to go. As Fitz will tell you, make sure you do it early. Sometimes if you wait until the Friday of the event, stuff may get blocked. So yeah, you want to explain, Fitzy?
Yeah, you got to do it really early. Like, do it today, the day you see this, because it will, depending on what service you go through, it will necessarily make you wait a while. Okay, so technically the rain delay was working in my favor, and then it all went away. So
do it early. Wait 72 more hours. So yeah, when I say go get signed up and make sure you're ready to go today, there's a reason. So it's just, yeah, it may take you a couple days just because with delays and all this stuff. So head on over, go get signed up for an account, use code FTS at sign up to get that 12% cashback offer. And you are ready and good to go. Throw some money in your account and make some picks and make some money while you're sitting at home listening to Maddie Marshall tell you all about paintball goodness. But for us here at the From the Sidelines pick show, that is going to be it for tonight. A little bit shorter of an episode, but wanted to just jump on and give you guys the information for this event. So big Red Legion fan over here, big fan. Really hope they win, because that would actually be the best solution ever. We will know by the time we do our live stream next week too, because this will actually be taking place that morning, so that'll be great to rub it in your guys' face. Or in a week from now, I'm going to be crying a lot because I'm going to be bullied. Either way, it's going to be an entertaining show. You're going to want to tune in next Thursday during the Atlantic City event. We are going to be having that live stream to give you all the information about the brackets and the event coming up. So tune on in for that. Head over to CureGo, get your account ready to go. Use code FTS, and let's make some money during this NXL weekend. Guys, Jordan, thank you for coming on the show. I'm glad you could do this, man. I really appreciate your input on some of the topics tonight. You back with us next week? Can we get you back?
I'll be back here Thursday.
All right.
I'm going to have to brag about all my correct picks.
Damn it.
And then I have to give new picks so more people can make money off of whatever I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
He's a sports analyst now.
That's his new job. Retired pro player.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'll do it. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
I love it. I'm so glad I got him on tonight. Yeah, this is a great episode of the show. We're glad you guys, hope we can help you make some money out there in the audience and have a little bit of fun along the way. Fitz, you got any final thoughts for tonight? I'll let you get an opportunity.
Thanks, Jordan, for being here. It was awesome. Definitely learned a lot. I'll make better picks next time. I definitely forgot about the snake guy a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna just be looking at stats all week. You're just gonna be going through shit until the next episode.
The motto for next week might be, don't forget about the snake guy. But we'll see how it goes. Thanks, Ma, for having me on. Thanks, Jordan, for being here.
That should be the motto of any team playing Axel Gaudin. All right, let's get out of here.
Just write it down, man. Just write it down.
For my two co-hosts, Ryan Fitz, and for Jordan Jabo Boyum, I completely butchered his name there. Sorry, Jordan Boyum. There you go. There's a better version of your name. My name is Ryan Mafia Moffitt. This has been From the Sidelines Picks. What is Fitz doing? That's why I'm.
He's probably writing down notes to not forget about the snake player.
Oh, he muted his mic.
Don't forget about the snake. It's right
he
there.
literally just wrote on his wall, don't forget about the snake.
The signs of a true champion right there. He's going to have good picks next week.
All right, I was trying to outro, but I'm glad I did it now. So let me try that one more time. For Ryan Fitz, for Jordan Boyle, my name is Ryan Mafia Moffitt. This has been From the Sidelines, episode number 99, the Pick Show for Texas Finals. And we will see you guys on the next one. Have a good night.